annual Swim with the Sharks pitch competition. My name is Bob Beichner, and I am the Economic Development Director and Business Incubation Director at the Emerging Enterprise Center, an initiative of the Newcastle County Chamber of Commerce. I am here with Program Manager of the EEC, Elise Bortolato. Through the years, this event has showcased the ingenuity of over 100 Delaware entrepreneurs and invested over $100,000 in local startups to move Delaware innovation forward. We could not have done this without the help of Newcastle County and the Delaware Small Business Development Center and the support of many, many community sponsors.
And this year's event is no exception. You will have the pleasure of hearing from 3 exceptional startups that are creating the next generation of sustainable chemicals and materials, leveraging robotics technology to improve the way our farmers treat crops and collect data, and transforming our urban landscapes into vertical farms with the mission of turning former incarcerated individuals into thriving agripreneurs. So stay tuned to see which startup will win the grand prize of $10,000 provided by the Newcastle County's NCC Innovates initiative. Our winner will also receive prizes donated by our community, such as an incorporation formation package by Harvard Business Services, a 1-year membership to the World Trade Center Delaware, the opportunity to become part of the Emerging Enterprise Center Virtual Incubator Program, and receive a full membership to Newcastle County Chamber of Commerce, including their premium marketing package. These prizes total over $15,000, and finalists will not walk away empty-handed. They can look forward to receiving a 1-year complimentary membership to the Newcastle County Chamber of Commerce to grow their business.
This annual competition is a testament to our growing entrepreneurial community, and we are proud to be a part of supporting our future business leaders and change makers here in Delaware. To begin this evening, I would like to introduce the president of the Newcastle County Chamber of Commerce, Bob Chadwick.
On behalf of the Newcastle County Chamber of Commerce, I'd like to welcome you to this evening's program. Good luck to tonight's finalists, and thank you to our esteemed judges, who are true models for aspiring entrepreneurs. I'd also like to give a special thank you to our community partners and sponsors for continuing to support this event that fosters economic growth and demonstrates the innovation of the Delaware business community. Our mission at the Chamber is to help you grow your business, and through this pandemic, we have not lost sight of our role in supporting each and every one of our members to accelerate their business recovery. To honor our commitment to the community, our team has quickly pivoted by hosting virtual events, workshops, and referral groups. We have leveraged the power of social media to stay connected, help our members get the word out about changes happening in their business, and share how they are making a difference. We have been tirelessly advocating for small businesses at the local and state government levels, and working closely with elected officials to help keep our community safe and businesses healthy. For almost 100 years, Delaware's businesses have leveraged the Chamber to build awareness, grow revenue, and develop new business relationships. And during this crisis, we have come together, and I know this will get better. With that, I'd like to welcome our Master of Ceremonies, Ivan Thomas, the founder of DETV. He's been using his platform to educate, connect, inspire, and elevate the diverse voices that make our communities and businesses stronger.
Thank you, Bob. I'm honored to be tonight's Master of Ceremonies. And now for the competition. Let's start by introducing our judges. On the judges panel is Katey Evans, co-founder of Frozen Farmer, a recent contestant on ABC's Shark Tank. We all know and love Gayle Dillman, owner and co-founder of Gable Music Ventures, which produces Wilmington's own Ladybug Festival, the nation's largest celebration of women in music. And now, also, don't forget the Newcastle County Chamber of Commerce Director of Economic Development and Business Incubation, Bob Beichner. We appreciate all our judges for taking the time for being with us today. And we're ready for our first contestant, Eric Gottlieb. who received a Bachelor of Science and PhD in chemistry from Carnegie Mellon University, is working to make chemicals from renewable sources with his company, Lignolix. Will his passion for sustainability and chemicals win over the judges? Let's see.
Hi everyone, my name's Gottlieb and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Lignolix. At Lignolix, we're trying to do something really ambitious that has the chance to do real good for the world. We recognize this is a lofty goal, but we also think we have a very realistic path to actually get there. Our starting point is with making a new preservative for cosmetic products that's natural. First, I'm going to tell you about what the need is in the market and how we fill it, and then I'm going to tell you why we chose this as our starting point. So, customers increasingly want products that are natural and sustainable, as well as, of course, safe. Customers are also really not happy with a lot of the preservative chemicals that are in these products. The problem is, anytime you have water within a product like a shampoo, you have the chance for something like mold growth. No one wants to open up their lotion a month later and see something like this. So formulators, these are the people who actually design the recipes, essentially, for these products. They want to give customers what they want, but they also want to give customers something that has shelf life and will be safe to use through its entire lifetime. Now, if this wasn't difficult enough, you have new regulations coming out of places like the EU and California that's banning a lot of the preservatives that they used to rely on. As a result, there's a need for new preservative products on the market, especially ones that are natural. Now, we're filling this need with a material called lignin and an innovation that we came up with while doing work at the University of Delaware. We developed a process to make preservatives that are natural, sustainable, and widely available. So, to tell you a little bit more about lignin, it's one of the most sustainable and abundant resources that we have. It has, plants make up as much as 25% lignin, yet there are very few good uses for it. It has a lot of great properties. The problem, though, is that it smells bad, it has a brown color to it, and it's really difficult to work with. So it doesn't lend itself well to going into consumer products. The net result is that 98% of it's just burned or stuck in a landfill. Now, what we came up with at the University of Delaware was a way to refine this lignin into usable products that we can put into things like cosmetics. So this is what our initial commercialization looks like. We're taking the waste from places like agriculture, industrial food production, and wood processing, things like pulping to make paper products, as well as sawmills sawdust. By using our process, we end up with a refined product that can be a natural and sustainable preservative for cosmetics. This is how we stack up to the competition. You have parabens, which were the gold standard for preservation. The problem is, one, they're not natural, and they're from petroleum. And two, they've gotten a really bad image from customers. If you've looked at a lot of products like shampoos and things like that now, you'll see they very proudly say no parabens. So if you look at the natural options, organic acids and extracts, these are things like essential oils. Each of them are missing key factors that are necessary for formulators to make good products. So there's almost always being a concession made when trying to make natural products right now. We're developing the only preservative that can actually hit on all of these requirements. So now back to why we chose cosmetic preservation first. It's a $1 billion a year industry, but more importantly for us, with building a chemical process and a business that requires physical infrastructure, this is something that operates on low volumes with high margins. This makes it a very effective starting point for us to build cash early on and build momentum from there. The other thing is that cosmetic products are one of the few areas where customers actually value sustainability and have been proven to do so by voting with their wallet. People are willing to pay more for something that's natural and sustainable, whereas in a lot of other market segments, they say they will, but then they don't actually do that. So that means that we can actually fill a need that these companies are really looking for. So we're targeting a $20 a kilogram wholesale pricing. This puts us at a price point that's between things like parabens on the low end and extracts on the high end. Again, filling that market need that currently isn't being met. Our first production scale that we're targeting would produce $300,000 a year in revenue, and that's really just the first step for us as a springboard to new products and larger scale. So this is the team. I'm one of the co-inventors of the core technology. I've been working on this for the past year and a half, driving the business strategy. Robert is a former scale-up engineer from Lubrizol, so he's been pushing this process from a lab scale to commercial. Elvis is an expert in biomass processing, so taking the actual plants and doing the chemistry needed to make these products. Thomas Epps is a professor of chemical engineering at University of Delaware, and he's a world leader in bio-based and sustainable chemistry. Lastly, our business advisor, Chris Seamer, is a veteran of the chemical industry and has been really helping to drive forward the business development side of things. So here's our traction to date. We started back in 2019, where we really took the time to understand our potential customers, the problems they have, and what we can solve. From there, moving into Delaware innovation space, we started scaling our process and sending samples to potential partners and doing performance testing to build out marketing spec sheets. The next step for us is to do formulation testing. This is a key thing for us because when we go and try and sell to formulators, if we give them a new ingredient and don't give them any help as to how to use it, they're not going to be able to really effectively use it, and that's not really putting our best foot forward. So this is a key step to move towards small volume sales and build momentum towards getting follow-on funding from places like VCs. This is also where we'd be using the swim with the sharks money because it would have the most impact for us getting to the next step. Now, as I said, this is really just the beginning for us. There's a massive amount of agricultural residues, food waste, and wood waste that we can upgrade into sustainable products. We see other opportunities such as additives, which is another high value area, and then moving into really large volume markets from there, things like adhesives and other plastic type compounds, but being bio-based instead of petroleum-based. This is where we see having a broader impact as well, where we really drive for improved sustainability in the products that we consume. When it comes to the local impact as well, we see, well, beyond the obvious of creating high-value jobs, Delaware has a legacy within the chemical industry, and we think it's about time that we move into sustainable chemistry and have companies that build that from the ground up as part of their foundation. What that means for us is that everything we do is not just about making a product, but also being good for the environment as well. All the things we work with in our process are diverted waste streams. So these things would either be burned or landfilled, and we give that a new life before and at the same time displace petroleum products. This allows us to have two ways in which we're helping the environment, not just the world, but also the local environment as well. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was really interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you. So you would take agricultural resources that are in the state of Delaware. How would this actually impact the state of Delaware first and foremost? Would you be going to the farms that we have here, or would you be sourcing the material from outside of the state?
So we are definitely prioritizing sourcing farms within the state of Delaware. We think that that's a great opportunity to have local impact. The other thing is, from a business standpoint, if we want to operate in the state of Delaware, which we do, you need to be close to the actual source. If you are trying to take large amounts of resources, like all the stuff that goes into farming that's left over, if you have to ship it across multiple states, it's going to kill your economics. So we actually have multiple incentives for not just operating in Delaware, but sourcing from Delaware as well.
What kind of ag commodities are you looking for specifically?
So the most common thing is corn stover. So all that gets, so you can till it back into the soil. And so we would be looking to take that, extract out the nutrients from it to go back to the farmers, but then take all the stuff that doesn't really help enrich the soil and make the usable products from that.
I'm sorry. A lot of farmers plant cover crop with their corn. How would that impact cover crop acres in the state?
So one of the things is that we have broad feedstock, what's called feedstock compatibility. We have a lot of different materials that we can take in to work with. So purity is not an issue. So when I say, for example, we're taking corn stover, we're not limited to just that. If there's a mix, it doesn't impact us at all.
Have you currently negotiated with any cosmetic companies, or have they expressed any interest that you're currently working with yet?
Yeah, so we have sent samples recently to a cosmetic company. They're currently doing evaluation testing. We actually expect to hear preliminary results back from them next week. We're also talking with other potential customers within the cosmetic industry. And while they've expressed interest, we're still working on moving into the sampling phase with them.
Sure. And how low would you have to push the how far below is the paraben price that you need to kind of at least be somewhat market competitive with?
So one of the really unique things about the cosmetic industry is that we don't have to try to price match on parabens. That said, parabens sit between $5 and $10 a kilogram. So we are on the premium side of things, but generally speaking, those cosmetic companies, they're able to drive better value because they can increase for being their sell point for being more sustainable.
Right, that makes sense.
I have one other question. How do you bridge that gap between you're selling your product to formulators, like in a cosmetic company? How do you teach them how to use the product? How do you advise them or train them?
Right, so that's where the formulation testing comes in. Essentially, we need to tell them the right range of the product to add into their products. So for example, typically preservatives are used anywhere from 0.5% up to like 2%. If we give them a starting point and also tell them the characteristics of the types of, so for example, if you're working with a lotion, you might have to work with it in a different way than if you're making a shampoo. So the formulation testing provides that kind of quick start guide as to how to effectively use our product.
Are there any competitors in your space that you would compare your product to?
So the closest comparison would really be these natural extracts. One example would be like citrus extract. That's one of the high-end preservative products. And we're not trying to compete directly on that front because that's the real premium market. Those go for double the price that we're looking at. We're trying to kind of target between the real commodity baseline market and the high-end most sustainable market. And so in terms of other aspects where we compare, one of the key things is being able to work across not just preventing microbial growth, but also things like rancidity. So the oil components of these products can go bad over time. The natural extracts, they can only really prevent the microbial growth. So they end up having to add another component to their formulation to prevent that rancidity. We provide two values in that sense where they can't.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Great.
Thanks.
Very interesting.
Thank you.
Great job, Eric. Next up, Adam Stagger. Adam Stagger is a University of Delaware grad, Go Blue Hens, and roboticist, specializing in the design and control of mobile robots. He began his journey as an entrepreneur in 2017 by selling robots to, get this, SWAT teams. He is passionate about sustainable innovation and improving the world through dramatic new technologies. See how his new robotic technology will improve strawberry productions here in Delaware.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Adam.
I'm Adam Stagger, the founder and CEO of TRIC Robotics. We're an agricultural technology company, and our mission is to make food chemical-free. To do that, we're developing a non-chemical alternative for pesticides that uses UVC light and automation to get rid of the pesticides. Now, if you're a consumer like me, when I say strawberries, this is what you think of. It's a sweet, sexy, irresistible fruit. But here's the dirty truth. When you go to the market and you buy strawberries, you come home with an average of 22 pesticide residues. That's because strawberries are number one on the dirty dozen. More pesticides are required on them than any other fruit or vegetable. This is what it looks like when they get sprayed. And it's not just a problem for us. It's also a problem for the farmers. Not only do they have to get dressed in this rubber suit and wear the respirator, But there's a whole host of other issues. It's one of their biggest costs. There's licensing, there's labor, there's resistances that build up in the field, and no entry times after every spray. So you're probably wondering, why don't they just go organic? And I'll tell you, it's really challenging to be an organic farmer. Organic methods and non-chemical methods, they don't work nearly as well as pesticides. But it leaves the question, well, what if there was a non-chemical alternative as effective as pesticides? Well, it turns out it wouldn't just solve all the problems with doing the chemical sprays, it would also make the farmers more money. That's because consumers like you and me, well, we'd spend a little bit extra to get a non-chemical fruit. But that's not all. There's no solutions available yet. We're the first to come up with a solution that can be used as a non-chemical alternative for pesticides. And we're using our expertise in automation along with a new method developed by the United States Department of Agriculture. Their Appalachian Fruit Research Station, the researchers at that station came up with a method that uses UVC light as effectively as pesticides. And together, through a cooperative research and development agreement, we're finally getting it out to farmers. This is our team, and it's exactly what you think of when I say startup. We're a bunch of passionate innovators, entrepreneurs, and engineers, and we're all working in a garage together to make this a reality. We're working countless hours, not just in the garage, but also in the field on real strawberry farms. Now, we're not doing it alone. There's a lot of people helping us out here, and it's too many names and institutions to mention, but I will say Dan Freeman is doing an amazing job with the University of Delaware's Horn Entrepreneurship Program because we've been able to be part of an amazing ecosystem of entrepreneurs and entrepreneurial programs that have helped us get to this point. We also have 3 amazing advisors. They help us stay focused not only on the customer, but also on the business and the innovative technology that's going to help us change the way we grow our food. I'm really proud to be here today and say that we were able to go from concept to fully functioning prototype on strawberry farms in under 1 year. And this is what our prototype looks like. We put this robot on Pfeiffer Orchards, Delaware's largest strawberry farm. And this year we ran our first pilots with them. Next year, we plan to use this system to cover, instead of pesticides, with UVC light on 2% of all farms in Delaware, 2% of all strawberries produced in Delaware. This is what the treatment really looks like. Of course, there's a trick to it. It has to happen at night. The robot goes up and down the strawberry rows slowly, making sure each plant gets just enough treatment. But you can really think of it like a Roomba. It sits on the side of the field, charging up its batteries during the day, and at night, it goes up and down the rows, killing pathogens like gray mold, powdery mildew, and 2-spotted spider mites all by itself. But with innovation, there's competition. So we have 2 competitors out in Europe that are also working with UVC light, and they're really focused on the European market and the European strawberry production methods. Also, they haven't quite figured out how to treat some of the hardest pathogens that affect strawberry yield. So we're focusing on the United States strawberry market, which is focused in open fields. And that market is the 2nd largest strawberry market in the world. Now, we want to address the large pesticide on food opportunity, but obviously that's a huge thing to grasp. So we're starting where pesticides are the biggest problem, on strawberry farms. But even then, to disrupt such a well-integrated part of agriculture is going to be hard. So we're starting even lower, with organic farmers. And although they're only about 10% of the market, they spend more per acre to treat the same pathogens. So it's a great place to start. They've also told us that they don't have any non-chemical treatment to prevent gray mold. They actually have to go out in the field and pick this off by hand. UVC technology can treat gray mold for these farmers, giving them an excellent opportunity to work with our system with very low risk. So with this great place to start with organic farms, we need some milestones. And we've created some milestones that will help us get there. We're already well on our way in 2020. We've done proof of concept with 3 pilots. We have developed a robot platform and a proprietary UVC treatment array. This is giving us a way to get this technology to farmers. And next year, we'll be putting this on organic farms and starting paid pilots. Now, we won't take our technicians off the farm yet. We want them to be next to the robot to see what goes wrong with the hardware and the software. They'll also give us a great chance to make really strong relationships with the early farmers that we partner with. Now, this is a great opportunity for us to collect some data, get case study information that'll help us validate the effectiveness of our treatments and understand how much we should charge the farmers. This positions us perfectly to expand in 2022. And we want to do this naturally. Agricultural technology, it grows because farmer innovators take up new technology, they show their neighbors that it works, and it grows naturally in this way by word of mouth. We want to expand in the same way. That means our robot supervisor can be on one farm and manage several farms in the local area. That'll drive our costs down and bring us into profitability. Now that carries us right into 2023, where we want to scale. And we've been considering how to scale since the very beginning. We've been designing this robot so that it can be boxed up and shipped to farms all across the country, where farmers can unpack it and set it up themselves. Of course, we'll probably partner with some distributors. Agricultural distributors will help us market our solution and deal with the complicated logistics of shipping it nationwide. Now, we're also going to offer technical support. We want to make sure that if a farmer needs help setting this robot up, we can have somebody there to help them. But that's going to come at an additional cost because most of our team will be centrally located on very few physical locations, monitoring our robots wirelessly. Now, each robot will cover 5 acres. And by covering 5 acres, we're going to be able to charge farmers monthly up to $30,000 per year. Now, this is going to be a huge benefit to us because we're going to be able to get out to a lot of different farms this way. And charging monthly is something that makes sense to them already. Now, you can imagine one farmer doesn't just have 1 or 2 acres. Farmers can have up to hundreds of acres. So we only really need a few customers to get started and start being profitable. And you have to imagine, with 60,000 acres farmed across this country, there's really a lot of room to grow here. And these numbers really represent just the strawberry UVC opportunity. Remember, we're developing a robot platform. UVC on strawberries is really just the beginning for us. The UVC technology makes sense because remember, strawberries are #1 on the Dirty Dozen. There's a really front-of-mind opportunity for growers and consumers. But it can work on different produce as well. Many different crops can benefit from UVC technology. Also, customers who already have our robot, we can add additions to our system to capture more value from customers who already have our platform. We want to bring strawberries back to Delaware. Getting rid of the chemical pesticides will help farmers make more profitability per acre. It'll reduce the uncertainty, and because we're giving farmers a way of using a chemical-free method, will not only help Delaware ecosystems, but will provide healthier food for our people. Now, this technology can help lower barriers to entry for new farmers getting into strawberries, and TRIC Robotics will be providing high-paying jobs and technical positions for Delaware citizens. Now, this is going to be huge for us, and the funding here will help us start our Delaware pilots next year, and also it'll help us pay new employees that can start doing part-time work for our company. Now, I hope you guys see the amazing opportunity you have here to make a difference. I need your support to help us make our dream a reality and get rid of pesticides and other chemicals on our food.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's very interesting.
So I have a question for you. Does the treatment happen once a day or every other day? Is there a schedule to that? And what happens if by some chance some not welcome pest comes into a strawberry field? Would this kill that, or how exactly would that work?
Yeah, so this actually, the research that the USDA has done on this technology, they've shown that you can do treatments every 3rd day. So we can actually do just 1/3 of the total land in the first day and then actually rotate through the field. And pathogens that come in the field, like spider mites, for example, this treats against spider mites, gray mold, and powdery mildew. These are the things that are proven by the USDA, but there's other pathogens in the field as well. UVC can treat against many different pathogens if the treatment time is long enough. So there's an opportunity to really get rid of all of these different pathogens in the field if we can do the treatments right.
Thank you.
What do you plan to do with the money if you were to win?
If we win this money, we need to win this money because it'll help us support our Delaware pilots. And we really need to hire a couple new technicians that'll become part-time members of our team now, and hopefully they can become long-term members of our team in the future.
How do your robots charge?
Yeah, so right now we actually go to the field and swap a battery on the robots. So it is kind of hands-on at the moment, and the technology is very much in development. But we've also shown that you can charge the robot during the day using solar panels, and that's our long-term vision for how the solution will become a reality.
And so I take it that you're also seeing downstream other produce that you'll be able to use this on. What are some of the other of the dirty dozen?
Absolutely, yeah. So there's grapes, apples, for example, spinach, kale. These are really popular produce now, especially spinach and kale. And they're also on the dirty dozen, and our technology can work on those too. It's really convenient to start with strawberries because it's so front of mind for people. And also the rows. I guess some of you might know how structured the strawberry rows are. It's great for automation, so it's a great place to start.
Would weather affect the robot as going down through the aisles?
That was one question.
This is a huge benefit for us because pesticide sprays are really dependent on the weather. You can't spray in the rain. If it's too windy out, you can't spray. So in our case, this actually can potentially work in the rain. So UVC can go through clear water, and the treatment will be equally effective. So there's a really good chance that on the East Coast, where we see a lot of rain and get a lot of gray mold, for example, this can make a huge difference.
And so you've already got at least one of your strawberry farms starting to work with you. Do you see downstream where you've started to be able to speak with other farmers out there that would be considering the technology?
Absolutely. I mean, we have 5 pilots set up for next year. 3 of those are farmers, and 2 of those are research sites where we can optimize our treatment and hopefully increase our profitability by doing that.
How's it working on your test plots now?
It's working very well. I'd say we did have some challenges with COVID because one of our research sites, we couldn't get all the labor in there, and you might know how much you have to pick strawberry fields. So we did have a good amount of rotten berries simply from not picking on that field. But our commercial site where the farmer was helping us keep up with picking, that went extremely well. So I think we have a really good future for this technology.
Well, and the picking is usually done during the day, and your equipment's running at nighttime only. Is it nighttime only?
Yeah, this is nighttime only, which is actually really great for 2 reasons. First of all, it doesn't disrupt any of the farmer's operations. And second of all, from an environmental standpoint, this doesn't affect the pollinators the same way that spraying pesticides would during the day.
Very good. That's terrific.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Really
much.
interesting.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Adam. Our final contestant tonight is Ajit George. Ajit is a serial entrepreneur, creative marketer, a veteran TEDx organizer, a food and wine aficionado, a philanthropist, and a certified dream builder life coach who is now combining all his skills, knowledge of gardening, experience to create the next generation agripreneurs through urban farming. Let's see how he is achieving that mission.
Hi, judges. I'm Ajit George, founder of Second Chances Farm. We are a public benefit corporation, which means we are for profit, but we benefit the public. We are a qualified opportunity fund. We'll talk about that more later. We are a certified minority business enterprise, and we're even a foreign trade zone. So who are we? We are Delaware's first indoor hydroponic vertical farm. That's a lot to gather in one day, but we'll talk about that in a second. We are making a transformational change in the way food is grown. And why do we do it? We are here to solve a problem. We have 3 problems we want to solve. First, returning citizens are our primary target. We hire exclusively people who are formerly incarcerated persons who return from prison. And most of them have a tremendously hard time finding a job. The rate of recidivism, which is the rate by which people who are returning citizens go back to prison, nationally and in Delaware, is close to 75%. And most importantly for us, we can provide locally grown, pesticide-free food 365 days a year. What are the benefits of locally sourced indoor agricultural farming? The most important thing is we can grow 50 to 100 times more food than outdoor farms. And we should be concerned about water. We use 90% less water than other traditional farming. We're better than organic, and that's a boast we make because USDA certified organic, most people don't realize, allows a certain amount of pesticide because if you're outdoor crops, you need to grow that. We are 100% pesticide free, so we are proud to say we are better than organic. What's our solution? An indoor vertical farm has a technical name. It's called controlled environment agriculture. It needs 4 things for controlled environment agriculture to work. One is lighting, and we provide it by virtue of the fact that we use LED state-of-the-art lights that are very energy efficient and that don't consume heat, and they're also very energy efficient. We also have water that we make sure there's no microbes in there, so we are not relying on rainwater or surface water. And we provide the nutrients just as we need it, so there's no runoffs. And then we are, most importantly, we also provide carbon dioxide. Organic produce is a $16.5 billion industry. So we are in a mature industry that is continuing to grow in the United States. Our approach, we have 3 R's: re-entry, redemption, and revitalization. So for a profit-making company, we get to have fun with the word re-entry and redemption, but it's also revitalization. We like to joke that we like to grow plants and people versus prisons. We say we have 2 crops, which is produce, but we also grow a new crop of compassionate capitalists. What's the economic impact of incarceration in Delaware? It's staggering. In fiscal year 2019, we spent $320 million to house, on an average, 4,208 prisoners in Delaware. Only 10% of them serve lifetime sentences, which means 90% of them come out. But we have a lovely revolving door, and so 70% of them go back within 3 years. And we spend $56,300 in Delaware to keep somebody in prison. What's our solution? We replace recidivism with compassionate capitalism. And what does that mean? We welcome exclusively people who are formerly incarcerated persons. We have a full-time person who is a re-entry specialist whose title is restorative justice, and it really means restorative justice. We provide all kinds of services that a traditional employer doesn't provide because we want to prevent the revolving door from going. We are also thrilled to be one of the leading smart farms in the U.S. because the future of agriculture is really in technology. It's how we control food that is being grown. And to do that, we partnered with some very interesting people. Our major partner is Sanan Bio. It's a large international company with over 1 million square feet of indoor vertical spot. We will be the largest Sanan Bio facility in the US, and they invested $500 million in vertical farming. Our second group that we partnered with is a Dublin, Ireland-based group called Farmony. They're providing us with the technology and the artificial intelligence to monitor water, humidity, everything 24 hours a day on a live basis so we can monitor the plant, so we do not have to be awake 24 hours a day. Lastly, the University of Delaware has created a new program in their College of Agriculture about sustainable agriculture, and we're looking forward to their graduates working with us. What does scale look like? So we have established Farm 1, which is a 2,400 square foot farm. Farm 2 is what we're working on right now. When it is done, we will have roughly 17,500 square feet in Farm 1 and 2, which is about 0.4 of an acre, just for a relative scale. 363,000 plants will be grown on any given day. 84,000 plants will be harvested on a week. 4,300,000 plants will be harvested in any given year in 17,300 square feet, which is a little more than a third of an acre. There is no farm outside in the world that can do that. Where are we located? We're located in an opportunity zone in a building called the Opportunity Center in 3030 Bauer Street in the Riverside community, a socially disadvantaged area. We have 47,500 square foot building, and we are also next to and very supportive of the Riverside community. Our business model leverages opportunity funds and opportunity zones, and we encourage people who have short-term and long-term capital gains to come and invest with us because there's particular benefits for them investing with us. What's our growth strategy? Our growth strategy is to grow in the Mid-Atlantic region and to have 5 farms that produce and 5 hemp farms also in the next 5 years. And we already have signed an agreement on September 14th to set up Second Chances Philadelphia next year. So we're very excited about our growth strategy. But you won't really understand what we are talking about, so I thought maybe we should take a tour of the farm. I'm Ajit George, founder of Second Chances Farm. We believe that the future of food is growing indoors, vertically, hydroponically, and pesticide-free. Urban indoor vertical farming is a solution to the food security question. Second Chances Farm is at the forefront of this in both vision and technology. This system provides the ability to grow a large range of commercial crops in the most cost-effective way 365 days a year. We are using some of the best practices and innovations known to increase agricultural yield while providing resiliency, reliability, and innovation to our food supply chain. Our produce is better than organic, as we do not use any pesticides or herbicides whatsoever.
I'm Evan Bartle, I'm Chief Growing Officer of Second Chances Farm. So what we're doing is we're trimming all of the crops that we planted about 3 weeks ago. All these plants here have been in the system for 3 weeks, and basically we're just cutting off the leaves, only the good stuff that people want, and leaving basically the bottom of the stem, which we get rid of. This will go over, get weighed by another person on our team, and then packaged into packages and sold to restaurants, CSAs, that's community shared agriculture, and grocery stores.
We have identified 5 hyper-local markets within 30 miles of our farm. Geographically, it includes the state of Delaware, southeastern Pennsylvania, including Philadelphia, the 5th largest city in the United States, South Jersey, and Cecil County in Maryland. We are targeting grocery stores, starting with the 6 ShopRite stores, which have the largest market share in this marketplace.
Our organization is founded on that principle of second chances. Second Chances Farms, where you have a local organization right in our state. Of course, we want to support that organization.
You made a commitment to purchasing from the farm.
We're excited for that. We know we can trust the brand and trust the product. Proud to engage about 25% of the state's population on a weekly basis. And the opportunity for us to partner with a startup in Wilmington like Second Chances Farms gives us the opportunity to buy essentially a C worth of investment growth.
We launched our farm-to-table delivery program on March 17th, 2020, at the beginning of the COVID-19 crisis. Since then, over 350 people have signed up to get 4 weekly deliveries for $99.95 a month. This has been a great success story.
I get to be healthy, right? Have awesome greens. I am supporting my community and making it healthier and helping those learn a new job skill and get grounded.
I love this program, this process. For me, Second Chances is more than just a job. For me, it's a lifestyle change that I needed to have happen.
So it sounds like you've already negotiated this with a number of grocery stores in the area?
One grocery store,
okay.
ShopRite. It's delivering to shop, and so we need Farm 2 up and running because they need daily deliveries.
Right.
They don't take small scale. And ShopRite is our test case to do it. They have the largest market share in Newcastle County. Clearly will grow beyond that, but they're more flexible with us and willing to take, for example, initially just basil.
Sure.
And so we want to learn how to do that right. And to do that, we had to get GAP certified, which is a USDA certification. Okay. And we're only one of 5 farms in the entire state that got GAP certification.
How are you going to deal with? And I think it's marvelous what you're doing. One of the issues I would think is transportation, getting your product to the marketplace in a timely fashion because everything is so perishable. What are you doing to address that issue?
We contract with the Food Bank of Delaware, which has a lot of refrigerated trucks. They see us as a additional source of income, and they are used to delivering statewide, and they are happy to use their excess capacity to deliver for us. So we have 0 trucking operations in our facility. We don't want to be good at anything we're not good at.
What would you use the $10,000 for if you were to win?
So what we want to do is we have 30 plus returning citizens working. They are technologically, having some of them have just left prison recently, and everything we do is technology related, and they're always behind. I would invest the entire $10,000 and match it with some additional dollars to buy iPads for them so they become technologically smart. Without that, they will fall behind. So that's the investment that I would make from this price.
With the initial group that have gone through, have been able to measure any of the recidivism of those people that have been working for you yet?
So the first group started on January 6th, and to the best of my knowledge, some people have dropped out because it was not for them, but nobody has ended up back in prison.
Wonderful, wonderful. Any other products you're thinking of going into?
So the products we are thinking of going into will be everything from strawberries to other things, because strawberries grow really well indoors, and we don't need don't have any pesticide problems or herbicides to work with. And so there's other things we can grow, from peppers to other things. But right now, the goal is to sell out everything we can grow and really test capacity before we move into the larger sections of the marketplace. So,
have you considered working with farmers? Because a lot of the farmers use transplanted plants on their farms. Is that something that you're...
It doesn't work because we are completely soilless. So we have to grow stuff that grows well hydroponically, and because we grow year-round. So the whole idea is we have no soil, and it is specifically geared with lights. We put 16 hours a day of lights on them, and that's why we can grow and harvest within 4 weeks.
It looked like you did a lot of microgreens and herbs.
We can get microgreens, herbs. We get a lot of lettuce.
Do you do any tomatoes?
We have tomatoes grow really well. We are not growing it in this farm because we didn't want to compete in the summer with Jersey tomatoes, but in the winter when we can charge a premium. Everything is about making a profit because we provide, for us to be sustainable, we need to be a profitable market. We cannot be a bulk commodity.
And you had alluded to some of the packaging problems that you were having, I guess, with larger scale. What is it that how are you packaging your products for ShopRite?
ShopRite they want in 3 ounces and 1.5 ounce packages.
Okay.
So we do
Ziplocs?
No, it's specific because it needs to be stacked and not crushed. You learn a lot about grocery stores by working with them, and what they have to do is make sure they can get it. It's not crushed. It has to be in the same volume. They have no ability to be individualized for anybody. They have to follow other standards. So fortunately, there's a lot of people we are following after, so those packaging is available nationally.
Great. How are you handling orders for the door-to-door
It's
program?
all electronic, and we use Shopify. You go online and you place your order, you put your request in, and then we deliver once a week to your home.
Is it something you pre-select?
You can't pre-select. It's whatever we grow on the farm that week. And if you're allergic or don't like dill or cilantro, you can tell us. We'll take that out. But you can't pre-select, no. It's more of a sophisticated CSA. Yeah.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you so
That was
much.
very interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah, very
Thank you.
interesting.
Thank you, Ajit. Now it's your turn to vote for your top contestant as the judges tally their votes. You have 2 minutes to text your vote starting right now to 650-600-9016. For Lignolix, text 182077. For TRIC Robotics, text 182078. And for Second Chances Farms, text 182079. You will only be allowed to vote once, and standard text messaging rates apply. While we're waiting for your votes, Katey Evans, who is our keynote for this evening, will share how her pitch won over investor Lori on ABC's Shark Tank, catapulting her Delaware farm creamery business, The Frozen Farmer, into stores nationwide, and advice for how to make your business the cream of the crop.
Thank you for the honor of being here today. I was particularly excited about this opportunity because Shark Tank has become such a huge part of my life over the past year. In fact, aside from having kids, Shark Tank is the biggest thing I've ever done. If you'd have told me when we first opened The Frozen Farmer in 2015 that I'd be where I am today, with Lori Grenier as our business partner and about to sit our products on the shelf in retail locations nationwide, I would have told you you're crazy. Because that's the funny thing I've learned about life. You may not end up where you thought you were going, but if you keep an open mind, you'll always end up where you're meant to be. As an entrepreneur who's opened the Frozen Farmer just 5 short years ago, I learned a lot through the process. But in the last 12 months since pitching my business on Shark Tank, I could write a book about all I've learned. I joke all the time that I wake up every day feeling like I'm in kindergarten, learning something completely new. But that's what keeps my job exciting. I live to learn new things. As human beings, we should never stop wanting to learn, and we should look for every opportunity to do it. Entrepreneurship is amazing in that it gives us something new to learn every day. So today I'm going to share with you a few things I've learned as an entrepreneur and how they've led to my success on Shark Tank and in my everyday life. Now, as a mom of 3 kids, parenting is also a learning journey. And try starting a business at the same time you start a family, because that's what we did. I had 2 kids under 2 years old when we started the Frozen Farmer. Life was a juggle and sometimes a complete mess. I often refer to building a business as raising a business because my business is like my baby, and I've raised it up just like my children. And anyone who has kids will tell you, if there's anything on earth that puts time in perspective, it's raising children, because they grow up so fast. I blinked my eyes and I barely remember the first year of our middle daughter's life, because in that 12 months, we had grown what was just an idea of the Frozen Farmer to a viable business with this opportunity with a major retail chain store, which was never really even in our plans to begin with. But going through things you never thought you'd go through will only take you places you never thought you'd get to. And from my experience, raising up a business goes so much faster than raising up a child. So the first thing I've come to realize as an entrepreneur is that time is the most valuable thing any of us will ever have. Ever. It's non-refundable. And time will pass us by regardless of how we choose to use it. So I've learned to make the absolute most of every day. In business, that's meant getting organized and prioritizing my time. I write everything down. I set daily goals and I write them down. And then I work like my life depends on it until I achieve them one by one. With each goal I set and ultimately achieve, I make a new one. At the end of every day, I review my progress and I make a new list for the next day. I view each day as an opportunity. Perhaps the most important lesson I've ever learned is that an open mind can open doors. You know, when we first opened the Frozen Farmer, we had every intention to make our products on a food truck, since we didn't have a commercial kitchen on farm. Our first business plan was written before we even went away to ice cream school to even learn how to make ice cream. We thought we had it all figured out. We bought a van, and it was in the process of being built to our specifications. And in the very first hour of ice cream school, we realized our business model wasn't sustainable at all. We needed plumbing and electric and additional space we hadn't even considered before. The small batch freezers we needed to make our products just wouldn't work on a food truck. No way, no how. Frustration set in, and a lot of times this is where many businesses begin and end, in the process of getting from idea to inception. But you can't let that happen. You have to be stronger than the emotions. You have to think logically when things go wrong. Because believe me, they will at some point or another. So that brings me to the next important lesson I've learned as an entrepreneur. And after this year, if you ask any entrepreneur what lesson 2020 has taught them, it's this one. Success in life is not how well we execute plan A. It's how prepared we are with a plan B. By now, we've all heard the word pivot. Well, let me ask you this. What does that mean to you? How well could you pivot if something didn't go just according to planned? Look, I don't think anyone would tell you they've ever expected to be dealt the hand of cards we've all been playing this year with the pandemic. But the important thing is that the game goes on, right? Life goes on. And it's how well we cope, how well we pivot, how we tread the water that determines whether or not we will sink or swim. At the Frozen Farmer, I feel like we've been pivoting since day one. When our plan A wasn't sustainable, we had to have a plan B, and ultimately a plan C and D. When we learned that we couldn't make our ice cream on our food truck, we had to find a brick-and-mortar kitchen to make our products for the food truck we had already ordered. And this is where an open mind, for us, opened doors. We looked into vacant kitchen spaces all over Sussex County. We knew building a kitchen on farm would take too long and cost too much money in year one of business. We'd already invested so much money into the purchase of our food truck, we had to make our products to supply it to begin recouping some of our investment and put that toward building a permanent brick-and-mortar commercial kitchen on our farm. We thought we'd found the perfect space to get us up on our feet. The rent was somewhat reasonable, and it even had what we needed to be state approved, but the lease was longer than we would have liked. We decided if we were going to rent it, we'd open the doors to the public for walk-in customers too, but we had to advertise we were there somehow, and luckily I knew the person that managed the property right in front of the space we were looking to rent. So I made a phone call to my friend to see if we could put a sign on her property that would point potential customers our way. But instead, she presented us with a better opportunity. She invited us to open our doors in the old Sand Wedge snack bar at Heritage Shores Golf Course and Community. It was a 240 square foot kitchen space that was sitting vacant and being used as a storage closet for the Golf Pro Shop. The rent was significantly less, and there were no lease terms we were bound by. Plus, there was already foot traffic, and it gave us the most perfect opportunity to get up on our feet and make our product for a food truck that arrived later that July, and start saving money for the creamery we wanted to build on our home farm. We'd pivot again that same year when Giant Foods presented us with another opportunity that had we not been open-minded to, it wouldn't have opened the door we ultimately had with Shark Tank. Here's another thing I've learned. In the words of Richard Branson, owner of Virgin Records, who just so happened to be a guest shark on ABC's Shark Tank, if somebody offers you an amazing opportunity, but you're not sure if you can do it, say yes, and then learn how to do it later. We took some of our very first flavors to a produce meeting at the corporate headquarters at Giant Food. The Frozen Farmer stems from our third-generation family farm, Evans Farms, a fruit and vegetable operation that sells produce to nearly 80 regional grocery chain stores, including Giant Foods. The more chain stores we landed as customers, the more food we had going to waste, not because it didn't taste good, but just because it didn't look good. Because our grocery chains, like Giant Foods, have such high cosmetic standards for produce. No one wants to go in a grocery store and buy an ugly quart of strawberries, right? But on our tiny 5-acre crop of strawberries alone, we were wasting on average 15,000 pounds of fresh berries annually, just because they weren't pretty enough for the grocery chains to sell. So we had to do something. We had to pivot. We went away to ice cream school and learned how to make these ugly strawberries into dairy-free, gluten-free, and fat-free sorbet, and super premium ice cream. Then we blended the two together for what's become our signature product, Nice Cream, a part sorbet, part ice cream blend. Since the very first week of opening our doors, our customers were telling us that we needed to pitch our business to Shark Tank, because the way we were reducing food waste through a value-added consumable product was unique and different. But being a mom of 2 and under 2 at that time, I didn't watch a lot of television, and I'd never even seen Shark Tank, so we brushed off the idea every time it came up. Fresh into the ice cream business, we took our first batch of flavors with us to a produce meeting at the corporate headquarters for Giant Food, as a neat way to thank our Giant Food produce buyers for being loyal customers of our farm. We also thought they'd enjoy all of the flavors made from the misfit fruit we couldn't sell in their produce department. Well, as luck would have it for us, the president of Giant Food was in the building that day, and he popped his head into our meeting. The next thing we knew, we were sitting face to face with the head buyer of ice cream at Giant. We had no nutritionals, no barcode, and at that time we had no clue about getting from small ice cream shop to store shelf. But the buyer was interested, so we kept an open mind and agreed to take on 11 stores that very first year in business. Before we even had a real farm creamery, mind you. This would be a cool product for Shark Tank, the buyer said, after tasting our flavors. We laughed and again brushed it off, as we just said yes to the opportunity of a chain store shelf set and tried to figure out just how we could pull it all off. Fast forward 3 years with Giant, and the buyers were gracious enough to allow us to grow with the chain at our own pace. And we found ourselves sitting in a category review meeting with 2 new buyers within the chain. When can you put it on all 164 shelves, they asked. We want it in the entire chain next year. The pressure was on. We had no idea what to say, so we just said yes. Sometimes you've got to say yes and then figure it out later, right? Now call me what you want, but I'm a firm believer in signs, so this next part of our ever-evolving and pivoting business plan was the direct result of a whole lot of meditation, soul-searching, sign-seeking, prayers, research, reading, and a crap ton of phone calls and emails, because we were not only on Plan C by this point after moving out of our tiny production kitchen in Heritage Shores to our farm creamery in Bridgeville, which allowed for our growth until this point, but we needed a Plan D, which would ultimately become the wonderful world of co-packers, bulk pre-printed packaging, and everything else it took to scale a business in the 6 short months we had to set the shelf for our first national grocery account. We were told it couldn't be done. The co-packers I talked to laughed at our timeline. The hurdles we faced sometimes seemed too high to overcome, but I wasn't about to give up. Here's where fate stepped in. Slapped me hard enough in the face for me to finally listen, and I decided to quit making excuses and just take a long shot chance. Bethany Frankel, owner of Skinny Girl brand, sent me a video encouraging me to pitch my product to Shark Tank. A huge fan of The Real Housewives, Bethany was a Real Housewife of New York City and had been a guest shark on Shark Tank, but I had still never watched the show. Not even one full episode, until I got her video. I was so shaken I couldn't do anything for days, except watch that video over and over again. You should pitch this product to Shark Tank, I kept hearing her say over and over again. Why hadn't I paid attention to this from literally every last person before now? And then I faced it. I sat down with myself in the mirror and faced what I had been avoiding all along. I admitted the true reason I swept it under the rug every time. I wasn't open-minded about someone telling me to take my product to Shark Tank. I laid it all out on the table with my 2 business partners, my mom and my husband, about why we had ignored the signs pointing us in this direction to begin with. Just why had I never taken the 1 hour to even sit down and see what the show was all about? Why? We'd invested years, 4 years, into raising up this business with as much love and attention as we gave to raising up our own kids, but I hadn't even given 1 hour into looking the direction that all the signs had been pointing me to all along. And why? Fear. Fear of failure. Fear of rejection. I was afraid of not making it through the casting process. I was afraid of putting my business, my baby, out there for people to judge. It was in this moment I heard the words, "An open mind can open doors." I committed right then and there to stop being chased by my fears and instead to face my fears. I went to theme parks and rode the biggest roller coasters. I drove in downtown New York City Times Square. I drove a box truck across the Bay Bridge. I held my kids' hermit crab, y'all. Yes, I'm scared of hermit crabs. Well, I used to be anyway. And I learned that facing your fears is liberating. I learned that time will pass us by regardless of how we choose to use it. We have just this one precious life. Why not chase our wildest dreams? Even if they do sound like a long shot. I learned how to be the hardest worker in the room and execute each goal like my life depended on it. The only way we can achieve our goals is to stay organized, to write them down, tick them off one by one, no matter how big or how small they are, starting with your last goal first. Work backward, but always write in that plan B or C or D. If somebody offers you an amazing opportunity, but you're not sure if you can do it, say yes. And then learn how to do it later. Don't let anybody tell you something can't be done, ever. Anything and everything is possible. Don't ever take no for an answer. There was a whole handful of co-packers and ice cream industry experts who told me I couldn't scale our business in the time frame we had. I kept calling and researching and working until I found one who would work with us. We set our first national chain stores this past February. And believe me when I say that anything is possible if you're persistent enough. You may not end up where you thought you were going, but you'll always end up where you're meant to be. And sometimes, going through things you never thought you'd go through will only take you places you never thought you'd get to. Good luck to all of the businesses pitching today, and congratulations for making it here. You've already overcome the first hurdle of getting your business from idea to inception. May you all learn something new from this experience, and may you never stop looking for new things to learn. May you find facing your fears as liberating as I did, and may you enjoy the journey of raising up your business.
Thank you, Katey. Votes are being calculated right now. As we wait with excitement for our final results, here's a brief message from the Emerging Enterprise Center and their partners.
As the Director of Economic Development at the Newcastle County Chamber of Commerce, I am inspired by the continued progress of Delaware entrepreneurs are making, even during times of this economic crisis. Our finalists truly embody the entrepreneurial spirit here in Delaware and give us hope for how much stronger we will all come out of all of this together. This has been a moment that has forced many of us in the business community to pivot, and I believe this will be a transformational period in the future of the world. We have been forced to change the way of our life, and with that comes new ideas and perspectives that will sprout into new businesses, inventions, and technologies.
And here at the Emerging Enterprise Center, we look forward to helping entrepreneurs build and grow their businesses by accelerating the learning curve for new business owners, bridging community connections, and offering a space for future innovators to make an impact on Delaware and the world. Our Business Incubator and Accelerator program offers 5,000 square feet of affordable office and co-working space, conference rooms, professional development education, expert mentorship, office amenities, and connections that are vital to the success of new business startups and entrepreneurs. Since opening our doors, we have proudly worked with over 70 startups to generate over $77 million in revenue and created over 242 jobs here in Delaware. Even with the pandemic keeping us at home, we've been even more committed to supporting small businesses through virtual programming, support, networking, and events. If you are a new business or know someone who could benefit from our incubator or accelerator program, please visit www.eecincubator.com today to learn about how you can be assisted by us in launching and growing your business.
As we wait with excitement for the results, our staff at the Emerging Enterprise Center would like to sincerely thank everyone involved in making this event possible. Our talented finalists, and all those who had submitted applications who will hopefully be on this stage next year. With that, I would like to introduce the Associate State Director of the Delaware Small Business Development Center, Danita Henderson, who has been a dedicated and generous partner for this entire program.
I bring you greetings and a message of hope from the University of Delaware Small Business Development Center. The SBDC has been serving the state of Delaware for over 35 years, helping businesses grow and succeed. Over the course of those 3 decades, our team of dedicated advisors has provided training and free and confidential consulting services to help entrepreneurs achieve big wins. Big wins like launching a new business, raising investment funds for a new innovation, or getting a loan for a new location. More importantly, over the course of those 3 decades, we have been there on the front lines to help businesses face some of their toughest challenges, to help them weigh options and make critical decisions about the best path for themselves, their families, their employees, their customers, and their communities. Times got tougher starting in March. Almost overnight, we went from helping innovators commercialize new and disruptive technologies to helping businesses adjust to the most disruptive event in recent history, and fielding tough conversations about how to stay afloat and stay safe in the midst of a global pandemic. We went into first responder mode, establishing almost around-the-clock remote operations, working side by side with the U.S. Small Business Administration to help our community navigate the complex maze of relief resources, and to help our community move forward toward recovery, resiliency, and reinvention. Since the start of the pandemic, the SBDC has provided one-on-one advising to over 600 businesses of all kinds, resulting in over $12 million in capital, supporting more than 3,000 jobs. If you have a business with less than 500 employees and need help in these unprecedented times, we can connect you with one of our expert advisors to help you chart a path forward. The SBDC is not alone in this effort. We are just one small part of a larger interconnected ecosystem of leaders and organizations that understand what innovation and small businesses mean to our communities, our state, and our nation. Next, we will hear from some of these amazing connectors. So I leave you with this: stay connected, keep calm, and small business on. The SBDC and the Delaware business community are here for you.
This is a very, very difficult and challenging time.
Folks are working feverishly around the clock to find ways to support one another.
Businesses, including construction, are meeting these challenges by putting safety first and being creative.
We've got to get creative and try to find new ways to keep people working, new ways to tell stories, new ways to keep people employed.
Absolutely blown away by the ability for the business community to adapt.
We are still here for you during this time.
We have moved everything online.
We've gone from 5 days a week to 7 days a week.
Both restaurants are operating as to-go only.
We've been moving a lot of things to animation.
New shift work patterns, keeping 6 feet apart on job sites.
Although we're all being asked to stay at home, there are also all kinds of different ways that we can find to support our community.
We're working more collaboratively now than we ever had.
We're making sure to reach out to every single employee every week.
We're also getting encouraged to really think hard about our personal health and our work-life balance.
One of the most important things that we can do is stay in touch with our customers and be there for them when they need us.
You need to speak to your bankers, you need to speak to your accountants, you need to do some research, and you need to have a plan to get out of this.
We hope that you are able to be safe and healthy during this time, and that you're able to use technology to do it.
I'm doing my part by staying at home, washing my hands frequently, and practicing strict social distancing. I urge you to do the same so that my clinical colleagues at Christiana can stay safe and take care of the members of our community.
No matter how many times you get knocked down, it's really about how many times you continue to get up.
We can do this, Delaware.
I know that we're going to weather this storm, and I know that we're going to come out of it stronger and better than ever before. So please, stay optimistic, stay connected, but most important, stay safe and stay healthy.
It gives me great pleasure to introduce the Newcastle County Executive, Matt Meyer, whose continued partnership made this event possible.
Newcastle County is proud to support our most exciting small businesses that are contributing to our innovation ecosystem right here in Delaware, in the first county, in the first state, through our NCC Innovates grant, created by our Economic Development Department, headed by Tamara Folks. You know, it wouldn't be possible without some incredible community partners like the Newcastle County Chamber of Commerce's Emerging Enterprise Center. They are so committed to nurturing our entrepreneurial spirit here, and right there at their headquarters, right on the riverfront, they're ensuring that the most innovative new businesses year-round town receive vitally needed training, mentorship, offer space, and network so that those companies can launch and grow, create jobs right here in Newcastle County. Now, this Swim with the Sharks competition has a history. It's played a part in the success of many emerging businesses here in Delaware. Businesses like SAS Nanotechnologies in Newark and Carvertage in Wilmington, doing incredible work, creating jobs and creating a bright future for our region. Now, to the three finalists today, I ask you to remember one lesson of American Idol. Very often, the second and third place finishers get the bigger record contract. So good luck to all of you. And let's remember, there's a reason that businesses choose Delaware.
And the winner of the 2020 Swim with the Sharks pitch competition is TRIC Robotics.
You know, Adam, to you and the whole team at TRIC Robotics, thanks so much for all the work you do every day innovating in Newcastle County. On behalf of the Newcastle County Chamber and our NCC Innovates program, congrats on winning.
Thank you very much.
Thank you again to all of our contestants, our final judges, Bob Beichner, Gayle Dillman, and Katey Evans, our semifinal judges, Associate State Director of Delaware Small Business Development Center, Danita Henderson, Marketing and Management Assistant Professor at Goldie Beacom College, Deanna Merritt, Associate Director of Commercialization at the University of Delaware, Horn Entrepreneurship, Mike Rakonis, and Venture Service Manager at NextFab, Toder Rakoff.
A special thanks to all of our programming partners, Newcastle County's NCC Innovates Initiative and Delaware Small Business Development Center, and all of our sponsors who made this event possible.